I'm Bill, I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage, where today we have the Streetfighter V4 S still on the lift. And today we're doing a modification that not many of us have ever either heard of or know much about. If you Google search an install on this, you won't find one. And you won't find many reviews on this. Now, there is one gentleman that's kind of broken a little bit into this, and he explains it very well in depth. I'm gonna link that video up above. But it is the Supreme Technology OverSuspension, distributed by Cali Moto. And like I said, I don't know much about it, so we're gonna get it installed and we're gonna put it to the test. Now, what I do know is that they claim by putting this counterweight on the rear suspension, it's supposed to help eliminate rear wheel chatter, keeps the tire on the ground more, keeps your suspension from having to overwork, and it eliminates high sides by 80%. Now, we're getting ready to head out to Chuckwalla, and I'll tell you, Chuckwalla's hot. These tires, they start to move around a little bit. So we're gonna put this thing to the test. So, without further ado, Jeff, let's get our chesty cam on and let's get this thing installed. It's literally 2 bolts out, 2 bolts in, some minor adjustments, and let's put this thing to the test. So without further ado, let's get to work. All right, so we have a few things lined up here on the lift. First, we're gonna need a 8mm Allen socket with a little bit of an extension. And then you're also gonna need a 4mm Allen socket. I would also recommend, while you're here, being that you're basically taking these 2 rear pinch bolts out, that's what you need to loosen to do your chain. Now is a perfect time to check your chain adjustment. I actually already did yesterday, so we're not gonna be doing that today. You'll need to have your torque spec sheet. I have these available. If you guys are interested, go ahead and DM me over at Instagram. I'll link it down below. But basically the torque spec on this, we're gonna be doing 20 Newton meters on these back pinch bolts, and then I think the other bolts are like 2 or 3 Newton meters. And then of course, if you guys haven't seen my little torque wrench adapters, super cool. I'll link those down in the description if you guys want that. But let's go ahead and open up. Very nice packaging. I mean, I love the packaging. When a company sends a package like this, you bought the real deal. Now, this is not cheap. $365, I think, from Cali Moto. So it's not the cheapest thing, but what you get is, obviously, this is your counterbalance. You can actually feel it's got a little bit of like this weight in it. And then you've got your bracket, which this is gonna mount in, which we're gonna talk about all of that. And then the bolts and spacers, which are all down here. So we're gonna go through that. And then the instructions are pretty basic on the install. We're gonna walk through everything. But without further ado, let's get into the actual removal of what we need to do. So you're gonna go ahead and grab your 8mm with your extension and your socket, and there are 2 bolts back here on your drive, okay, on your rear hub. These 2 bolts, 1 and 2, are going to be completely removed. So go ahead and get your 8mm in there and go ahead and remove these. So remove number 1. And remove bolt number 2. All right, so once you've removed the 2 bolts, now we're gonna go ahead and start putting everything together on the bracket, okay? So first you're gonna grab your bracket and the counterweight. Now, the counterweight you're going to basically put in, and you're gonna make it flush with the bottom here. And this is where you're going to be using your 4mm. So what we're gonna do is try to line this up so at least it looks halfway decent. I don't think that there is a front or rear. Oh, here we go, down. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and just line this up like this, I think. And what we're gonna do is just line the bottom up and then just hand tighten this for now. So go ahead and line everything up and then just get a little pinch here and a little pinch here. So now you can see it's kind of mounted, and we want to make sure that that's nice and flush down on the bottom. So that's all nice and flush. And then you're going to, per Supreme Technologies, you're going to tighten this down to 2.3 Newton meters. Not very much, not very much. So go ahead and get this on here and go ahead and get 2.3 Newton meters. On each one. All right. And so now we're all torqued down and tight here. So now what you're going to do is set this down, and in your case, you're going to have two little spacers. So your spacers are just going to drop in basically right into here, 1 and 2. These are little spacers. Flanges go up because obviously it can't go in, so flanges go up. All right, and then in there you're going to also find that there are 2 bolts. Now these bolts need to be greased, so I like my super lube. We're going to go ahead and just add a little bit of super lube on here and go ahead and grease up the threads on each one. All right, now we're all lubed up on the bolts. We're going to go ahead and grab our pre-tightened mount. We're going to grab 1 bolt through here, and then we're going to go ahead and slide that into the top and start threading the 1 bolt in just to get a bite on it. Grab our second bolt here and start threading that in the second one. And once you start threading in, you can let go of that. And then we'll go ahead and grab our 8mm back, and we'll go ahead and start hand tightening this down until we need the torque wrench. All right, so as you guys get these finally snugged down just enough, make sure that the bolts are flush inside the mount and that the mount doesn't have any movement. You want to make sure that the mount is flush on the spacers, and of course the bolts went through the mount completely and they're not caught up on the edge, okay? And then go ahead and get it snugged up, hand tight, and then we'll go ahead and get our torque wrench on there for 20 Newton meters. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this thing snugged at 20 Newton meters. And over to the other side. All right, so 20 Newton meters, 20 Newton meters, 2.3 meters, 2.3 Newton meters, and now we're nice and secure. All right, so again, super easy install. Basically 2 bolts, get it mounted, crank that thing up to plus all the way, and you're pretty much ready to roll. So, like I said, I'm not a big suspension understanding person. So, I hopefully will be able to work with Dave Moss a little bit more on this and get it dialed in perfectly. But from like what I've gathered and from what I've spoken to people, it's really easy to use. Pretty much just crank it up. I'll probably, one gentleman that hit me up on Instagram about the Cordona quick shifter, he says he has them on all his bikes. So I'll probably ask him where he's dialed his in. But let's get it out to Chuckwalla and test it. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys do the normal. Hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring the bell notification. The bell notification is going to give you future notification of content here on the channel, like the follow-up to this OverSuspension and what I thought about it at Chuckwalla. Also, we're going to be doing the follow-up video for the Cordona quick shifter and seeing how that works. But the Streetfighter's done on the lift today. We're heading over and doing some work on Bogna's Panigale V2. Rear tire's already off. Front tire's got to come off. We got to get some new tires on there. But we got a new windshield going on today. We have a clear clutch cover going on. We have a chain and sprocket kit going on. We have a bunch of stuff happening with this thing. So stay tuned. But thank you guys again. And let's say farewell. Stewie, 62. She's back home for just a couple more days. And the HP2 heads out to the new owner out in, I think, Chicago, Illinois. So it's here for a new set of tires, and then the shipping company will be picking up next week. So Stewie, say goodbye, but thank you for supporting the channel, and we'll see you guys next video. Bye guys.